What is up, boys? Welcome to the presentation. Welcome to the video. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how I went from this guy on the left, who at the time was working out for 4 years at that point, believe it or not. And I looked like this, had a very average physique, nothing too impressive, to where now in the present day, I'm able to maintain a lean physique year round, and it honestly feels effortless. And the entire goal within this presentation is to simplify what it means to be in good shape, what you have to do, and to not overcomplicate it, because that's what a lot of the fitness industry unfortunately shoves down your throat, that it has to be complicated. You have to do this and that, being able to optimize everything in the right way. And it can feel overwhelming at times. So within this presentation, I want to make it concise, right to the point, all the things that have actually led to me going from this guy to where I'm at today. The first thing I had to fix was structure, because when I first started going to the gym for the first couple of years, I didn't have any structure in the gym. I was going on random days each week. On average, it was around 2 to 3 times per week, which could be sufficient if you have the right program in place, which I did not, which is the next point here. But it's very important to establish that going to the gym is a priority for you if you want to get in better shape. Not that you have to live in the gym or go 5 or 6 days per week, but you need to signal that it is a priority for you in being able to schedule certain days every single week. So now I hit the same muscle groups on the same day each week. That way it's embedded into my routine, and that way I'm not going to miss it. But on top of that, like I was saying earlier, you want to be able to have a program that makes sense for you and for your goals. Back in the day, I didn't have any knowledge. I didn't know what I was doing. I was going to the gym randomly. And on top of that, I was doing random workouts, whatever I felt like doing at the time. And that just made it to where I was not efficient in the gym, and I was just wasting my time overall. The best thing that you guys can do if you're just starting out in the gym, or if you have a similar issue, is you just want to make sure that it's built into your schedule, built into your routine. And at first, it might feel like there's a little bit of friction there, but over time, it's going to feel a lot more natural the more that you do it. And it's going to feel like second nature. But you just have to establish that, like, this is something I'm taking seriously. I'm going to go the same day each week. That way, it'll just feel effortless. It'll feel easy over time. The next thing I had to address is a few issues that I had within my training approach, my training philosophy, because like I was saying, I was going on random days, doing random workouts, but on top of that, I was not focused in the gym whatsoever. And I was not focused on having intensity, being able to gradually get stronger in the gym, getting my reps up, being able to add weight every single workout. But back in the day, I wasn't focused on that whatsoever. I was just going in randomly, doing what I felt like doing. And on top of that, I was just on my phone for probably like a total of 15 to 20 minutes throughout the entire workout. Whenever I would be taking a rest, I would be on my phone for like 2 to 3 minutes at a time, as opposed to now I'm going in with intensity. I'm going in with focus. I only use my phone to change songs if I need to, but I'm there with a mission, with a purpose to get something out of it, to get stronger and to train in the right way. So within me doing so, I train close to failure, about 1 to 2 reps shy of failure. Putting a new stimulus on the muscles each time I go into the gym is the goal. But back in the day, I didn't know anything about that because, again, I lacked knowledge. And then also, your body is the gym. This has been a huge game changer for me because a couple of years ago, I started doing calisthenics, and that just opens the door to being able to train anywhere, to where you're not dependent on a gym, and it makes working out more enjoyable as well. When you learn skills such as the handstand, the muscle up, back lever, front lever, it makes it to where you go from being at one point to where those skills look impossible. And then once you actually accomplish them, it feels like 3 times as good as being able to hit a PR in the gym with a new weight. It just feels incredible, and it adds an entirely new layer to all of your workouts and to training in general. And lastly, it builds an athletic identity, because when you have more of a hybrid approach to your training, if you do calisthenics, if you're into running, if you play any other sport, or you do plyometrics, there's a bunch of other things that you can be doing on top of just working out. But when you have that type of approach, it makes it to where it's more ingrained into who you are as a person. And it makes it that much more sustainable, because when it's a part of who you are, you're going to naturally go in that direction and find other ways to stay active, other ways to work out, to where you're going to be able to sustain that as you get older and as you move through life. All right, nutrition. So the first thing that's a non-negotiable for me is sticking to mostly whole foods. This is something that we've learned throughout our entire life, and it's just a staple. It's foundational, but it's so easy in our culture nowadays to go more towards processed food, junk food, fast food. It's just more convenient. It's easier for obvious reasons, but the more that you can substitute what you were eating with actually having whole foods, the better off you're going to be, whether you're trying to build muscle or lose weight. And I follow an 80-20 rule at the bare minimum, meaning 80% whole foods. One thing that I like to do is have protein desserts. And that's an example right here, doing a bowl that has Greek yogurt, protein powder, banana, honey, cinnamon. That's a good replacement if you like to eat ice cream or any other sugary sweet. Like, that's something right there. It's where you can hit your protein goal and have a higher chance of being able to do that while having something that can scratch that itch of it being sweet. So there's a lot of things you can do that are similar to that, to where you can stay away from the foods that you shouldn't be eating and eat whole foods, and then also be able to hit your goals at the same time. And as a general rule of thumb, I stick to lean cuts of meat, typically lean ground beef, as you can see in this picture, or chicken. I just like to keep it simple. And on top of that, as my carb source, I do sweet potatoes, rice, make sure I've always got veggies, fruit. So the more that you guys eat food of this nature, it's going to feel more natural over time. The same thing when it comes to trying to build the routine within your fitness program. The more you do it, the more you're going to get used to it, and you're going to start to enjoy it as well. Lastly, you want to limit or completely avoid alcohol. In that first picture that you guys saw, I was going out basically every single weekend, and that was a big reason why I was unable to get the results I wanted to see in the gym. For one, it tanks recovery, it reduces protein synthesis and testosterone, you get worse sleep, and it's also just excess calories, about 100 calories for every single drink. And if you're trying to lose weight especially, that is not what you want to be doing for obvious reasons. All right, and just overall lifestyle, like I was saying on the training slide, you want to be able to just have an active identity, and being able to move your body every single day is the key to that. Whether you're walking or you're playing sports, you have active hobbies, you do calisthenics or body weight workouts, because overall, this just makes it easier to be more active, to burn more calories, and to reinforce the identity of someone who is active. Because I guarantee when you were a kid, you had a much more active lifestyle where you had active hobbies. It was more natural for you to play outside and just play a lot more sports. And the best thing that I've been able to do is just being able to tap into my inner child. And I still play basketball and play lacrosse to this day. Those were my two favorite sports growing up, and I haven't lost sight of that. And that's been a big reason why I've been able to stay in good shape, because I'm able to burn a lot more calories and just have that much more fun in the process. Because when you're playing sports, obviously the goal is to have fun. And when you can meet like-minded people through playing sports as well, you can join communities, you can join groups, intramural leagues, but that can replace the need for going out on the weekends if you're stuck in that kind of cycle like I was in a couple of years ago. When you meet people through a more healthier way of doing so by actually being active playing sports, there's also a strong calisthenics community in general. But as a non-negotiable, you want to move your body every single day in some fashion. At the very least, just go for a walk. All right, the last slide here is recovery. So you want to sleep at least 7 hours per night. We all know this. We all know why it's important, because it leads to more muscle growth and repair, hormone optimization, energy, focus, fat loss, overall performance. If you guys are struggling with sleep, I would recommend these supplements right here: magnesium glycinate, glycine, or L-theanine. Those have helped me in the past being able to improve my sleep quality. But the biggest thing here is being able to adhere to a consistent sleep schedule, going to bed at the same time every single night. And to do that, you want to be able to have a dark and a cool room, no screens at least 1 hour before bed. I would recommend reading instead, and having morning sunlight as well, because that helps reset your circadian rhythm. And for obvious reasons, you want to avoid alcohol. You don't want to do any late activity, because then it's going to make you feel stimulated and it's going to raise your heart rate, and you want to have a lower heart rate going into when you start to get ready for bed, having late meals, or having caffeine too late. So these are all obvious points right here, and I'm sure you guys know all of this, but it's good to have a reminder as far as why it's important, and just being able to have consistency overall within each of these points. And that's what's really going to make the biggest difference moving forward. And that is the last slide right here. Just having consistency be the inevitable outcome when you adhere to something that you can enjoy, something that makes sense, and something that's also proven, because you don't need to fully optimize everything, because when it comes down to it, it's all just about being able to have an identity that's centered around being active and just being able to move your body every day, like I already touched on. But when you keep it simple, when you just focus on a few simple principles like this, it makes it feel a lot more feasible, and you're more likely to make it sustainable and adhere to it long term. Everything I went over in this PowerPoint should set you guys up in the right direction to start getting the results that you want to see in the gym. But if you guys are looking for a more personalized approach and you're interested in one-on-one coaching, be sure to go into the description, click on my Instagram, shoot me a DM, and we'll go from there to see if you're a good fit. But with that, I'm going to leave you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.